make out?
We think okay, I'll let, or at least we're in a pretty good place. I'll let Ms. Huggins explain.
Our client, Mr. Gleason, has sent resignation letters between the three boards, which he is a member, and those resignations are effective April 15th.
Did you say April 14th?
April 15th, Your Honor, 2015.
And so has he tendered resignations that are effective that day?
Yes, he advised us that he mailed the letters on Monday. I have sort of the text of the letter, but I don't have a signed copy here, otherwise I would submit it to the court. But he represented to us that he's mailed them to the three authorities, from the letter it says they're effective April 15th, which is what was represented to us.
That sounds like a good way to work it out.
Well, under Massachusetts law, the good news on these is that under Chapter 41, I think it's Section 109, it's irrevocable once you file with the town clerk. There's no going back. So I'm comfortable that in terms of those whole sets of concerns about this going on ad infinitum, that is satisfactory. Obviously, the town still maintains a position that what the registrars did was effective, and there's no real need for the preliminary injunction. That being said, we're also cognizant of the fact that this case is not going to reach maturity, i.e. trial and a judgment by April 15th.
Thank you for working together to work something out. And I'll stay, do you want to be heard? Excuse me.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm an intervener.
Okay, come on up, I'm sorry. Now, you folks are welcome. I did allow the motion to intervene. You're Susan Mumford?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and there's also Peter Monson.
Yes, Your Honor.
Come on up, I should have, now that you've intervened, you're parties in the case, and you have to say.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
We've been hearing for months that he was going to resign. He left in August. This has been ongoing. I'm not happy that he's going to resign in April. He should resign immediately. He testified under oath at the Board of Registrars hearing that he wasn't here. He didn't leave long. He wasn't going far. In addition, he also interviewed with a local newspaper. He was trying to find lodging the next time he came to Kingston. He doesn't live there. He shouldn't be on the board. And you know what, his testimony that he gave at the Board of Registrars, which was on the internet, and it was stated, I believe, is sufficient enough to show he's not a resident here. He filed an affidavit that was full of inconsistencies. And I'm not happy that he's retiring in April. He should resign today. Yes, that would be a nice, neat resolution if it wasn't for the fact that there is still business that needs to be done in the town.
We have a news article here that the chairman of the board of the selectmen was interviewed, and he confirmed that when he came, last time he came back up right before Thanksgiving, he was looking for a place for him and his wife to stay. Now he's supposed to be living at his brother's house. He doesn't live at his brother's house. He stopped in there a few times, because like I said before, I've been keeping checks on what he's been doing while he's in town.
With situations like this, typically no one's happy. Mr. Gleason probably feels that he should stay. You feel he should get off right away. And so he says, I'll leave before the election. And it's over. You don't need this, do you? I mean, did you need to be into deposition stuff and
Sir,
spending money on town council and the town's money?
Your Honor, that was the decision of the board without me to hire town council for this. I am here separately as an intervener. But the problem is this. He doesn't live in Kingston. He shouldn't be representing the board. We went through the process. And it was a 3-hour process, unfortunately. Unfortunately, sir.
That's your position.
Well,
and like anybody else, it's your position. And it's your position, Mr. Monson.
well, Your Honor, if you forgive me, my position is that he filed an affidavit that was full of non-truths. That's my position. And that's what he applied for the injunction. And you know what, my problem really is with the injunction. If he wants to fight this, he can fight this. But I'm looking at the injunction separately to freeze it. That's the issue that I have. It's the injunction, that it will be continued to allow. If he doesn't want to fight this and you know what, April, he resigns, that's one thing, but the injunction is another that allows him to keep in place. When the affidavit that he filed by his own hand is a direct conflict to what he testified to.
Well, arguably it is, but arguably it isn't, quite frankly. Why don't you folks go outside and talk, I can take some more cases. Okay.
Decision whether or not to renew proceedings on an injunction comes down to this, is whether or not there's still a case to be made for municipal hardship. In my pleadings, my underlying opposition to the motion for preliminary injunction, I said it's Mr. Gleason's absence that we have a concern about because our boards would be shorthanded. On those grounds, you kept the injunction in place, feeling ostensibly that the hardship would be greater for Mr. Gleason. What I'm hearing the interveners suggest is that the hardship is something different, that, and I don't want to speak for them, but it's that he, not that he'll be absent, although that may be part of their concern, but that he'll be taking votes that will be adverse to the town. I want to be clear about this as town council, because I represent other members of the Board of Selectmen. I do not doubt the credibility and good votes or bad votes that Mr. Gleason may have taken. He is a member of the Board of Selectmen. I can only assume that every vote, that every member of the Board of Selectmen, right, wrong, or indifferent, is a good vote. You would need a fortune teller to tell whether or not the votes that he's going to take or may not take would be prejudicial to the town. I cannot and will not stay here and tell you that the fact that he's voting is prejudicial to the town. So I don't think that that is part of the town's argument regarding prejudice. Now, it may be the intervener's argument, but it is not mine.
Since the sale of his home, I think it was in August, he missed at least 5 meetings. And the environment of those meetings have been pretty contentious. Townspeople getting up at open forum, yelling, being very disruptive. So that's the harm that we look at every meeting that he's not there.
Well, I don't understand that, because he doesn't stop them.
People are demanding his resignation. So we have a section of our selectmen's meeting that's an open forum, and people get up and question it and demand a resignation. He's not there. Where is he? Does anybody have a reason why he's not here? So that's when we start the meetings. There's anger, they're just worldly. There's been threats that the police will be called at these meetings. So I just say that that's the harm, that when he's not there. And when he is there, if he's making votes, he doesn't have the best interest of the town of Kingston because he's no longer a resident. And now that he knows he's going out the door, I don't know.
I think the issue here is that his existing term would be continuing if he doesn't resign.
Well, I'm sad to hear this. That this is not good. But if you want to, basically, you say we want to fight this out, and I have to accept your word that this is going to be destructive, more destructive than ending it. And I will tell you, anytime that someone wanted to say that one of you are no longer residents of the town.
Well, Your Honor, I live in the town.
It's a very, very heavy burden.
And Your Honor, we did have a 3-hour hearing and we were successful.
That hearing never took place. It was a hearing before a different judge, and it would be all different testimony, all different everything. It's not, the hearing, that's why we're here.
Your Honor,
Yes.
there's 2 people that I had requested at the previous hearing for the Board of Registrars that I had no power to compel them. I would request assistance for possible summons for 2 individuals that I have in mind once we get a date set.
Yeah, well, I think council will take care of it.
Thank you.
15th of January?